and welcome to day 16 of Litmus.
Hello. Today we're going to be talking about Autoby authors. What's an Autoby author, you ask? Also, what's this accent she's doing? No one knows. So an Autoby author is an author that no matter what they come out with, you're gonna buy. I don't even care what it's about. I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna share 10 of my Autoby authors. I have more than that, so there will be some honorable mentions. Maybe we'll get them out of the way first. Let's talk about some honorable mentions before the official 10 list, which is not in top 10 order, it's just in alphabetical. How I classify an Autoby author, or who becomes an Autoby author, is by a few simple rules. It's really just one rule. I have to have read more than one book by them, and not just like in a series. So if they have a series, I have to read that entire series and something else by them. So separate stories entirely, and I have to have loved all of those stories. So that's how you become an Autoby author for me. That's why there are some honorable mentions, and I'll explain why they're honorable mention and why they're not part of the top 10. The first one is Emma Lord, who wrote Tweet Cute and You Have a Match. She also has a new one coming out. I forgot the name of, but it's right here. I did love both of these books. The only reason it's not Autoby for me is because they're both contemporaries. And while a lot of authors do stick in their genres, I just feel like I need to keep going with Emma before she becomes an official Autoby author, but she's well on her way there. We also have Madeline Miller, who is the author of Circe and the Song of Achilles. Again, this is because it's very similar stories, but I believe Madeline Miller is branching out to some different stuff, so I look forward to seeing it. I did love both of these books a lot. They weren't exactly 5-star reads, but they were very high up there, which is just preventing the Autoby status. But honestly, she kind of is just unofficially an Autoby. The next up is Rainbow Rowell, and that is technically she's on my Autoby shelf. Like, I actually have a shelf here I'm going to show you guys in a moment, which is my Autoby authors, and there is Rainbow Rowell stuff on there. I just think that Rainbow Rowell can be a hit or miss depending on the book. So she's not fully Autoby, but I do tend to buy what she's writing, but not an official. It's like making an official Disney princess, you know? They can still have their own Disney movie, but they're not an official princess yet. That's what these authors are vying for, because I am the pinnacle of success in determining an author's career, obviously. Then we have Naomi Novik, and I do love Naomi Novik's stuff. I haven't put her officially on it yet because I do have to read a few other things to really decide, but I have now read 3 books by her, so I do think she will be very soon moving up into the Autoby category. I just want to see if I like some of her earlier stuff before she officially becomes that. Next up is Dawn Kurtagich, who I love reading from And the Trees Crept In and The Dead House. I have a new book by her called Teeth in the Mist. It's over there, and it's because she is purely a horror writer, and I have loved both books, but I feel like for horror, I need to like another book before it's official on it, because I don't think she's going to be branching out to other genres anytime soon. But I do really love her. She's usually an epistolary author as well, so she has a bunch of different media within the books. There's like notes and transcripts and stuff in the books that she writes, and I really, really love that kind of collective assortment of ways to create a book. She's also very, very close. And lastly is M.K. England, who wrote The Disasters, and they're both sci-fi books. They're both queer sci-fi books, and I super loved them. I felt they were both different enough. I need to read more. I want to read more, and while I did love them, they weren't exactly 5 stars either, but they're very, very high rated for me, and I super love them. They're also one of my underhyped authors, and their books are underhyped as hell, and I think more people should read them. So those are the honorable mentions. Let's talk about the official Autoby authors. Now, if I bring you over here, you can see this shelf here has many of the Autobys on here. Rainbow Rowell is in fact on here, but I need to buy more. A lot of the Autoby authors I have don't have new books out yet, and I've already read them, and they need to put more books out. You can see there's a collection of somebody in particular that's now quite on the list, but not officially on the list. That's kind of funny to think about. You'll see some people on here that I'm actually not going to be mentioning, and that's because they just recently made the list before I officially made this one. So V. Schwab is on here, and that's only because I just finished reading A Darker Shade of Magic and absolutely loved it, along with Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. But she's also kind of not technically on the list yet, but she gets to be on the shelf because all the other authors don't have books out yet. Need new books.
I'm sorry, was that intense for you guys? I apologize. I'm so sorry. Let me fix you. Guys, okay? I'm so sorry. Just, it's okay. Okay. Better? You feel better? Okay. I didn't mean to get so fired up. Sometimes I get fired up when my favorite authors aren't writing books. We don't want to turn this into a certain situation. So these are not in any particular order. They're literally alphabetical because that's how I wrote them. But the very first one is Alice Oseman. I love Alice Oseman's stuff. She does Heartstopper. She did Loveless. She did Solitaire, which I have now all read. I have 2 more books by her on here. I have Radio Silence and I Was Born for This, along with the Heartstopper novellas, This Winter and Nick and Charlie, which I still need to read, but I just love her. She just gets me as a person, as an ace person. She gets me, especially with Loveless. It's one of my all-time favorites, and I just love it so much. I love her writing so much, and the graphic novel is amazing. She's amazing. She's amazing. There you have it. Next up is Andy Weir, and Andy, I think, is the only male on this list, so well done to you, Andy Weir. Andy Weir, if you don't know, is the author of The Martian, Artemis, and Project Hail Mary, which are all sci-fi novels, but I love them all so very much, and Project Hail Mary has knocked it out of the park for me this year with my, I don't know if I can call him my boy, but my alien Rocky. I love Rocky so much. I didn't know Andy Weir could make me love a rock creature that sings. I mean, he's a rock creature that sings. He's a spider rock creature that sings. I don't know how Andy Weir got into my brain and discovered exactly what I wanted out of life, but he did it. I just love it. I love the humor in it, and I love the high stakes of it all with very average characters that are thrown into fantastical situations. I really, really like it. I can't wait to see what Andy Weir does next. But what is it? Because I need to know. Next up is Anna Marie McLemore. She is the writer of When the Moon Was Ours, Dark and Deepest Red, Wild Beauty, and The Weight of Feathers. Those are the 4 that I have read from her. I love her stuff. I still have Blanca and Roja to read, which is down here. She has 2 new books coming out, or no, Mirror Season just came out. I really want to read Mirror Season, and next year it's going to be Lake Lore, which I'm just excited. I love her writing. It's lyrical and beautiful, and it can be a little flowery, but it works because it's magical realism, and it's just beautiful, and I never thought I was a magical realism person, but I am now because of Anna Marie McLemore. This is gorgeous stuff, and it's always queer and Latinx and beautiful, and I love it. It's just gorgeous, and Next up is Casey McQuiston, who wrote Red, White, and Royal Blue and One Last Stop. Casey McQuiston just recently made this list because I did just finish reading One Last Stop, and I absolutely loved it. I was hesitant because of the reviews, and then I just found out a lot of those reviews were because of lesbophobia. Don't do that. Casey McQuiston, aside from writing amazing romances, is just so good at writing these 3-dimensional characters. I would honestly argue that they have like 5 dimensions because they're out of this world and out of time. I'm fine. She just has this way about creating these characters that are so real and believable and are going through real struggles that, and just seeing them work through the relationships that she puts them in the situations, it's just very realistic, even if it's fiction, you know? I just love it, and I love what she does, and I can't wait to see what's next. Can't wait! Next up is Erin Morgenstern, who is the author of The Night Circus and The Starless Sea. And I know a lot of people like don't like those books now for some reason. They're like, it's just boring. And I'm like, I found them glorious. I found them beautiful and breathtaking. That's how I would describe those books, are breathtaking. It just, do you remember the first time you sat in an IMAX theater where like the whole screen was everything and you really just felt like you were there? That's what her books do to me. They give me that first IMAX experience. That's such a weird metaphor for this. But that's what my brain says, okay? It's just that moment of the first time you see something that's just unbelievable. And that's what it feels like to read her books. It's just like this wild, amazing, well-crafted, big world that you just right into. That's how I feel about her. Next up is Leigh Bardugo. This is not a surprise to anybody. Leigh Bardugo just made this list as well because Most people are like, what? She just wrote the Grishaverse. That violates your rules. Wrong. She also wrote the Wonder Woman novel, which was okay, but Ninth House as well, which I super loved. A lot of people also hit or miss on Ninth House, but for me it was a hit. And I love all her stuff. We have her right on the Autoby shelf with Rule of Wolves that I still need to read. I really want to get a copy of Lives of Saints, and I can't wait for the next book in the Alex Stern series. Where is it? I'm sorry, I love you. Please give me your next book soon. All right, next up is Julie Kagawa, who I absolutely adore. She is the writer of the Iron Face series and Shadow of the Fox. Julie Kagawa just also recently made the Autoby author list. I love the Iron Face series. Like, it's definitely in the realm of like very old trashy YA, but I still loved it because Puck is my boy and I cannot wait to read Iron Raven, which, oh no, it's down somewhere else. Where is Iron Raven? There's somewhere. There it is. Iron Raven. It's right over here. It's on the newborn shelf. I can't wait to delve back into that world, and I just finished the whole Shadow of the Fox trilogy, which was amazing and lovely. I'm mad at the ending, but I'm not at the same time. I just really, really loved it. I love her writing. I think she does some really fun stuff, especially like seeing the growth from the Iron Face series into Shadow and the Fox is just beautiful. Love it. And next we have Marie Lu, who is the author of the Legend trilogy, The Young Elites, The Kingdom of Buck, and Wildcard. No, Warcross. Wildcard's the sequel that I need to read. Warcross, as well as Sky Hunter, which I need to read. She writes all over the place, and that's kind of what I love the most about her, is you don't know what you're going to get, because Legend is a dystopian. We have Young Elites, which is a fantasy. Kingdom of Buck is a historical fiction with a hint of fantasy. We have Wildcard, which is kind of sci-fi reality, and Sky Hunter, which is very much sci-fi. She can just write anything and it doesn't matter. She's a jack of all trades in the genre world of writing, and I will buy anything and I will read anything by her. Obviously, that's what this whole video is about, Q. And next up is Marissa Meyer, who is the author of the Lunar Chronicles as well as Renegades. I also have Heartless by her up here, which I have not read yet, but I love Marissa Meyer's writing. She is also one of my, like, not guilty pleasure, but I love the romances that she writes, okay? They get me right in the feels, and they make me feel something in my cold, dead heart. I just really like it. I like it a lot. I love the characters that she makes, and also her books are always narrated by my favorite narrator, so she has that going for her. And last on the list is Trisha Levenseller, who wrote Daughter of the Pirate King duology and The Shadows Between Us, and I have a few other books by her that I have not read yet. But again, another author that writes really great, kind of swoony romance. The Shadows Between Us also I really loved, and I don't understand the hate for it, but I love Shadows Between Us. Kind of more than Daughter of the Pirate King, which I absolutely loved, because the main character of Alosa is just, like, fantastic, and I adore her. I really, really loved Shadows Between Us, and I have Warrior of the Wild right here on the Autoby shelf that I'm excited to get to as well. I just think she has a way with that enemies to lovers. That's usually, I mean, both of those books have kind of enemies to lovers in different contexts, but I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I just really loved her writing, and that's why she's an Autoby. So those are the official 10 Autobys. There are many more that will likely join. Oh my god, I can't believe I didn't even say Francesca Zappia. I have to cancel myself because I didn't talk about Francesca Zappia, who is an Autoby author for me. I've read 3 of her books: Eliza and Her Monsters, Made You Up, and now Entering Adamsville. That's it. This is the end of my entire YouTube career and book career. Everything. I'm finished. I'm about to be smote by the book gods. I didn't mention Francesca Zappia, my all-time favorite. What is wrong with me? Oh my god. But Francesca Zappia, everybody, is an Autoby. I just haven't seen a book from her. Oh wait, she's coming out with one next year. Katzenjammer. I forget I don't know how to pronounce it, but I just found out that she's got another book coming out, and I am desperate to read it. But she's also official Autoby author. Do I have anybody else that I have forgotten as an Autoby author? I mean, Holly Black kind of is, but not quite yet, because I didn't enjoy the Curse Workers series by her. So she's not quite Autoby, but definitely in the running.
Ah!
I think those are my official Autoby authors. Okay? We're gonna go with that. I'm mad at myself for forgetting Francesca Zappia. I just... Yell at me in the comments or on Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter. I wouldn't support me on Ko-fi today for being such a fake book vlogger. Booktuber. I didn't even say the word right. I'm so messed up in my brain from that. I can't. I'm gonna go. I guess I'll see you tomorrow if I'm still alive, but I anticipate being assassinated tonight for that. So, I guess, bye. I guess I'll turn off the camera before I go die. Flappy sleeves. Look how flappy. I actually don't like the cut of this shirt, but you know what? It's all for the sleeves. And I'm gonna choke first. What are you, like, making a TV show or something? Whatever. You had one scene, Lee Bardugo, and you didn't even talk. You know.